Hello everyone, today we will discuss about excitation contraction coupling mechanism in muscles. Okay, so first of all we'll know the anatomy, like basics of muscle, how muscle fiber and myofibril, what are all these. So suppose this is a biceps muscle. Okay, so all the muscles are made up of muscle bundles or fascicles. Okay, these are the structural, like main unit. And then muscle fascicles have muscle fibers, and then muscle fibers is made up of the myofibrils. Okay, and the myofibrils have the sarcomere, which is the main, like, functional structural unit of the muscle, because contraction occur in sarcomere. So all the cell have plasma membrane, so muscles also have the membrane. So muscle fibers are covered by a layer called as a sarcoplasma. So now we will know what is excitation, contraction, and how all these occur in muscles. So first of all, what is excitation? Excitation is stimulation by neuron. So it is like an electrical event, so that excited neuron. And what is contraction? Contraction is like interaction between the myosin and actin by calcium that contract the muscle. And the main ion for contraction is calcium, and this is stored in the sarcoplasmic reticulum. And sarcoplasmic reticulum is the main primary contractile unit of the skeletal muscle. Now we will see how all these processes occur, like excitation, contraction, occur in muscles. First of all, we have to know two receptors that are important in calcium regulation in muscles. First one is the DHP receptors, that is dihydropyridine receptor, and second one is the RYR ryanodine receptors. We will know how they function. So first one, DHP. So DHP is voltage gated calcium channel that act as a voltage sensor. Okay, this DHP doesn't allow calcium to flux through these receptors. This DHP only sense the calcium and act as a voltage sensor. And second one is ryanodine receptors, and this is this receptor present on the sarcoplasmic reticulum membrane, SR membrane here, and this channel flux the calcium into the cytosol. And at resting state, both channels are closed, and at resting, DHP closes the ryanodine receptors. Okay, this is the resting state. Okay, and this one is the excited state. And suppose this is the neuron. Okay, when calcium channel are opened, and that lead to release of the neurotransmitter at neuromuscular junction, and that depolarize the motor end plate. Okay, and then depolarization spread through the tritubule, and depolarization causing a conformational change in the DHP receptor. It removes block of RYR receptors, and this causes conformational change in RYR receptors, this ryanodine receptor, because now these ryanodine receptors are opened and calcium diffuse into the cytosol from sarcoplasmic reticulum. Increase in calcium in cytosol open more ryanodine receptors, so this is called as a calcium release. Okay, calcium induced calcium release. This is important, guys. So after, when increase in calcium in cytosol, so that lead to initiate contraction. Now calcium bind to troponin C, which in turn initiate cross bridge cycle and creating active tension and create contraction. So when after that there is a decrease in, like, neurotransmitter, and repolarization started. So calcium is pumped back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum. This calcium is now pumped back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum by the sarcoplasmic endoplasmic reticulum. Calcium ATP is pumped. So through this pump, calcium is pumped back, and now there is a decrease in cytosolic calcium, causes tropomyosin to once again cover the actin binding site for myosin, and muscle relaxes. So all these events I wrote here. So what is the sequence? First of all, skeletal muscle action potential is initiated at neuromuscular junction, and action potential travel down to the tibule, and depolarization causes conformational change in DHP receptors and then lead to conformational change in ryanodine receptors, and calcium diffuse into the cytosol, increase in cytoplasmic calcium, open more ryanodine receptor, and that causes the calcium induced calcium release. And now calcium bind to troponin C and all these contraction happened. After that, calcium is pumped back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum by the calcium ATPase on sarcoplasmic reticulum membrane, called as a sarcoplasmic endoplasmic reticulum calcium ATPase, and that lead to decreased calcium in cytosol, and that lead to muscle relaxation. So all this is the excitation and contraction in the skeletal muscle. So skeletal muscle is also a striated muscles, and cardiac muscle is also a striated muscle. So now we will look at comparison of this striated muscle, skeletal muscle versus cardiac muscles, like what they have similarities, what they have difference, and what is the difference in their excitation and contraction coupling mechanism. So first we will look at the similarities in the process. So both have same functional protein, actin, myosin, tropomyosin, troponin, and titin, and both initiate contraction when there is an increase in calcium. Number 3 is both uses ATP in contraction. Both have SCRCA receptor on sarcoplasmic reticulum membrane. Both have ryanodine receptors on sarcoplasmic reticulum membrane, and that causes calcium induced calcium release in both cases. So all these are the similarities between both muscles. Now we look at the difference in both muscles. In case of cardiac muscle, extracellular calcium is involved in cardiac contraction, that is not involved in case of skeletal muscle. Okay, so how extracellular calcium is involved, as we saw in skeletal muscle, like action potential that enter through tibule and change in the DHP receptor, and that lead to change in RYR receptor. So in case of cardiac muscle, that extracellular calcium enter in the cell, and that lead to change in the RYR receptor, and through that all the calcium release into the cytosol. And in this case, extracellular calcium causes calcium induced calcium release. Second one is cardiac muscle is electrically coupled by a gap junction, and gap junctions are absent in skeletal muscle. Third one is cardiac myocyte remove cytosolic calcium by the two mechanism. First one is SCRCA, and second one is sodium calcium exchanger, through which 3 sodium comes in and one calcium goes out. And this is present on the sarcolemmal membrane. And in case of skeletal muscle, they only have the SCRCA receptors. So guys, this point is important. Like they have the two mechanism to remove calcium. So these are the difference between the cardiac and the skeletal muscles. Now there's always one question: why CCBs are resistant to skeletal muscle? Because in case of the skeletal muscle, they don't have dependence on extracellular calcium. They only depolarized cell is only depolarized by the action potential. They don't need extracellular calcium to start contraction. But in case of the cardiac muscle, they need extracellular calcium that activate the ryanodine receptor, and after that contraction occurs. So that's why in case of cardiac muscle and smooth muscle, that CCB block the calcium channel, block influx of calcium. Okay, so that's only why CCB used in this cardiac and smooth muscle, not in skeletal muscles. Okay, so guys, this is all about today's video. If you have any question or any doubt, please comment below, and guys, please like, subscribe and share video. Thank you.